I didn't buy a sanctuary. I bought a living, breathing parasite that needed to be fed every single month, and it had an appetite that my salary could never quite satisfy. When I first pulled into the driveway of my turnkey suburban home, I felt a surge of pure adrenaline. I remember running my hand along the cool, polished granite countertops and looking out of the expansive bay window at the perfectly manicured lawn. I felt like I had finally escaped the instability of renting. No more waiting for a landlord to decide if my comfort was worth their money. No more yearly inspections by someone who didn't care about my life. My realtor, with a smile that felt as warm as a summer afternoon, told me I was investing in my future. I looked at my fixed mortgage of $2,200 and felt a profound sense of peace. I thought I had locked in my destiny. I thought I knew exactly what my life would cost for the next 30 years. I was wrong. I had made the most common and most expensive mistake in modern finance. I had confused the ceiling with the floor. See, there's a hidden equation running in the background of home ownership that they never mention during the champagne toast at closing. For a renter, $2,000 is the maximum they will pay for housing every month. It is the absolute ceiling of their financial liability. If the roof leaks, it's a phone call, not a catastrophe. If the HVAC system dies in the middle of a record-breaking heat wave, the renter simply goes to a movie while someone else pays for the repair. But for a homeowner like me, my $2,200 mortgage was only the minimum. It wasn't the total cost. It was just the starting line of a race I was destined to lose. The reality of the house began to reveal itself through a series of small, expensive whispers. A house isn't just an asset. It's a complex collection of mechanical systems that are all on a synchronized countdown to failure. The roof has 15 years before it surrenders to the rain. The water heater has 10 years before it decides to flood your basement. The AC unit is a ticking time bomb waiting for the hottest day of the year to draw its final expensive breath. Every month, the parasite demanded a sacrifice. It started small, a $50 flapper for a leaky toilet that kept me awake at night with its rhythmic hissing. Then it was a $400 tree trimming because a branch looked threatening to the power lines. Then came the property tax hike, a silent $200 monthly increase just because the city decided my zip code was now up and coming. I wasn't building equity. I was hemorrhaging cash just to maintain a status quo that was slowly rotting from the inside out. I remember seeing a post from Leo that summer. He sent me a photo from a boutique hotel in Mexico, his feet up, a cold drink in his hand. He'd just sent a maintenance request to his landlord for a leaky faucet, and then walked down to the beach. While Leo was relaxing, I was spending my Saturday in a dark, damp crawl space. I was covered in cobwebs and itchy old insulation, trying to figure out why my dishwasher was flooding the kitchen floor for the third time. I spent $300 on parts and 10 hours of my life watching YouTube tutorials, only to realize I was in way over my head. I ended up calling a professional who charged me $1,000 for less than an hour of work. I realized then that I wasn't an owner. I was an unpaid, unskilled laborer for a building I didn't even own yet. The bank owned the house. I just owned the chores. But the night the illusion finally shattered for good was a night I will never be able to forget. It was Christmas Eve. The temperature had dropped to 10 degrees, and a bitter, howling wind was rattling the window panes. At 2 a.m., the furnace made a sound like a dying animal, a mechanical shriek followed by a deafening, cold silence. Within hours, the house felt like a tomb. I stood in the basement, my breath visible in the freezing air, staring at a massive iron machine I didn't understand. I called 5 emergency repairmen. 4 didn't answer because they were home with their families. The only one who picked up told me the holiday rate just to show up at my door was $400. The final bill for the blower motor and the emergency labor? $3,700. I sat on the basement stairs and opened my bank app, the blue light of the screen reflecting in my tired, bloodshot eyes. My balance was $812. My emergency fund had already been swallowed by a broken fence and property taxes months ago. I had no choice. I had to put warmth for my family on a credit card with 24% interest. I sat there in the dark and realized the house didn't care about my Christmas. It didn't care about my promotion or my dreams. It was a parasite, and it was hungry. I was house poor, owning a $500,000 asset, but unable to afford a repair without drowning in high-interest debt. Leo moved to a new apartment last month. He wanted a better view of the city and a shorter commute to his new job. He didn't have to call a realtor. He didn't have to fix a furnace or paint a fence to make it market-ready. He just packed his bags and left. His wealth is liquid, sitting in accounts that grow while he sleeps. Mine is buried in the pipes, the shingles, and the dirt of a building that is slowly eating my future alive. I bought a home to find peace and security. I only succeeded in buying a full-time job I never applied for, with a boss that never lets me take a day off. And by the time most people realize that the white picket fence is actually the bars of a cage that requires constant, expensive painting, it's already too late.